Now it was made known that the word of the light could actually be heard because people were willing to listen to someone if he talked to them in the right way. But the right way of the truth I didn't know until I realized that it was to tell the whole story from the beginning till the end. And it is a blessed occasion, and it is a sign on this nation, or the Western Hemisphere, or all those who speak English, that you have been given glad tidings. Accept Islam and be saved. If you don't recognize the story of truth, you will surely perish. And that is the message of all of those who call themselves Muslim, have warned all of the greatest nations and greatest leaders. But now that you hear the story, it makes a little bit more sense, as all of you should be searching for the light. But I said, as beautiful as this tale is, we do have to remember some certain fundamentals. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything right now because the story has gotten long, and it is important for you to understand and recognize the truth of the tale from the beginning to this present day before we get to go anywhere into the future. And so I am saying it right now. Please bear with me. I don't want to talk about the future right now. But there are certain things we must know and discuss, and certain things that have already been made obvious. We said because the sign of the prophet is that he is the last messenger, and that all kinds of people who came to bear the truth have been offered all kinds of evil things. And the greatest of leaders came to the Prophet Muhammad once he understood the story of the truth and said, we will give you money, we will give you leadership, we will give you everything that you want from this earth. Just please don't tell the story. Please don't tell the story. The Prophet made this challenge. He said, if you put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left, I will not stop telling you this story. And so if I'm a bearer of the truth, I must tell you the same thing. Of course, I can't stop telling the story. The truth is the truth. It can never be denied. But we said that we must go a little bit back in the tale. If I'm to tell you the warning and let you understand that it is true, it must be a warning that when you hear it, you already know it. It must be a warning that when it's said, many of your people have recognized it. It must be a warning that is so great and grand that it is worthy of this occasion of me making all the bold claims that I have made. It must be a warning that is very dire. And it must be a warning that when you are told, you understand exactly that it will be and why it must be, because you have listened to the story of the truth. We said if we must understand the future, that we know that the prophet who came right before the Prophet Muhammad, we said that if you are a true believer in the light, then you know that every prophet is referred to with peace and blessings, and all of them bore the light, and Jesus, son of Mary, also bore the light, and we know that he told in the story of truth to his most noble companions that he was going to return, and that he did not die but would ascend, and he would return to live on at the end of days. In that there is a sign. And so if the prophet who comes after him, well, if Jesus is coming at the end, then the next prophet must be the final prophet, and we've already discussed that. So of course every Muslim knows about the return of Jesus and all the things that are going to happen in the future, but that's not my warning today. That's something that is already known to you. I say if we want to understand today's warning, we must go back and understand that every part of the story that I have told you has been about the cosmic nature of the battle of the light versus the darkness. And that the truth of the light is more powerful than any star or shining light or any misdirection of Satan. The truth of the story is of the light of the Lord. And that on this planet, once and for all, a man came and said, I want the Lord Most High to never be forgotten. That man was Abraham. Peace and blessings be upon him. And he prayed to the Lord that from his children be bearers of the light who could explain the story. And he was blessed. And he was blessed with Isaac, and he was blessed with Jacob, and the sons of Joseph and Israel, and Moses and David and Solomon, and all the way down to Jesus, son of Mary. And then the light began to get lost. And because Abraham is so important in our story, and the one who maintains the truth, God said, fine, from this moment on, the light will be brought from the other side of the lineage of Abraham, from his noble son Ishmael, who bore the house with their own hands and built it to the Lord, and that house continues to exist. And this is so important in our story as you're continuing to listen. But when Abraham makes a challenge, when Abraham, the most noble of prophets, makes a challenge to the earth, I mean, I have made some bold and noble claims and challenges to the earth, and I have even proved them. But Abraham made some challenges. Let's go back and listen to the story. Abraham said, "My Lord," because he understood the light, "is the only one in this universe who makes life and gives life and takes life. None of the alien races could clone to a living person. None of the sons of Adam could clone a living person. In our modern day, we're debating these issues, but these issues have been answered for all time if you understand. And go to the Jewish rabbis and they will tell you they tried to make mankind, but it didn't have a soul." Strange, I know, but listen back to the story. Now that you hear me saying about the golem back there, you think, wow, this was really one heck of a tale. And so we've continued to say that Abraham's challenge was being proved that the Lord Most High is the only one who gives life and takes life. And that Jesus, son of Mary, was an evidence and a sign that the Lord is the one who gives life and then ascends it, and at later times return him. And in many of the signs of the prophet were there to make you understand the challenge of Abraham, that the Lord Most High is the one who gives life and takes life. But now I'm going to tell you how it is that you should understand the warning that is to come. Abraham made a challenge on the earth. My Lord is the one who gives life and takes life. And since then we have been explaining the definition and the truth of that statement of our father Abraham. But I told you, Abraham made two statements at that very moment. He said to Nimrod, the foolish leader of the greatest of nations, he said, "Nimrod, my Lord is the one who gives life and takes life." And Nimrod said, "I could kill somebody or decide to let them live." Such foolish ignorance when you don't understand the truth of the story. But now you must know the warning, and I don't even have to tell it to you. When you remember the story that I told you, you know what I'm talking about. Abraham said, "My Lord is the one who rises the sun in the east. Can you rise it from the west?" I am sorry to give you the warning. Abraham said, "My Lord is the one who rises the sun in the east. Can you rise it? Make the sun rise from the west?" Of course, the challenge was put down, and Nimrod, the false king and false leader, as any false leader, cannot make the sun rise in the west. But as I told you, every part of this tale must fit. So now I get to the warning that you already know is true. That many of your so-called leaders perhaps have known, that perhaps from the ancient times some Mayans might have calculated by secret knowledge and some stars that at one day a certain changing of the sun might happen. On the horizon, there are projects of people saying, "We are trying to study the project of the horizon and understand what is happening to the sun. And there are those who are coming out with theories of pole shifts and weird changes and catastrophes to the earth. And some are suggesting all kinds of grand and strange things.